What is going on, everybody? We are back. It's your boy Simo, and today we've got a very different video this morning. I've been working hard on this. It's been a little bit of an idea, a bit of brainstorming, and I'm going through the Pokemon that I think should be in the game, or 5 Pokemon that very well could be in the game. One for each role, going through, seeing what movesets they could have, their possible Unite moves, their passives, all that. I've gone through pretty in-depth to go through each Pokemon, one for each role. So let's jump into the first pick. My first pick to be added to the game, I think, should be Metagross. Right here, we got this boy. We got another, I think he should be an all-rounder because he's obviously got a very high attack stat, very good at defending, like very tanky, very bulky. He's another pseudo-legendary, so hopefully he turns out a little bit better than Garchomp if he happens. But I've gone through, I've written a list of what I think, so I think it should be very different. I know Gibble and Gabite is the reason that Garchomp kind of lacks a little bit, but I think Beldum, because he only learns one move, I think it should stay that way. So I've given him Tackle at level 1, and he learns nothing until level 6 when he evolves into Metang. So it's a tough, very, very tough early game, even harder than Gibble. But once he evolves into Metang, then he learns Metal Claw and Confusion, both at the same time. So he gets a big power spike at level 6. Goes through, levels up again at level 10. He gets Metagross, which makes sense, like Garchomp and Gardevoir as well, level 10. And then he gets his Unite move, which I've actually got here, which would be, I'm going to call it, for the argument's sake, we're going to call it Metallic Rampage. It's going to be kind of similar to Snorlax's. It's like an AoE effect. He like stomps the ground and then knocks everyone up in the radius, but then he can move like, it's kind of like Garchomp and Snorlax together, how Snorlax rolls over. He kind of takes a step forward and stomps and knocks up anyone in the ring and can move, can do like, say, 4 stomps or something. Damage, hits everybody, kind of tanky in a team fight, big area effect, the stun's good, kind of an all-round, which is the idea, the all-round ultimate or Unite move, which would be really handy. And then so after he learns Metal Core and Confusion at level 6 with Metang, then he would go through and he would level up. I got here that he would learn at level 8, he would learn Meteor Mash or Iron Head. So you can either go for one that can increase your attack or make your next basic attack stronger, kind of like Power Up Punch, or Iron Head, which would give a possible flinch or a stun. So you can go the 2 different routes as an all-rounder. You can play more of a stun, defensive type role, or more of an attack carry type role. So I thought that would be good. 2 steel types, obviously he's a steel Pokemon to even it out. And then the other move, that's from Metal Claw, obviously, that makes sense. And then from Confusion, I've made it different again. So then Zen Headbutt, so we can have double flinch if he really wants, which could be kind of insane. I need a lot of these Pokemon that I made are really out there, so they're really strong, so I don't want to undersell them, so I've kind of made it better. So obviously if it was in, they'd get fixed or whatnot, or cooldowns, whatever it is. But so then Zen Headbutt would be at level 10 when he evolves into Metagross, and then you get Zen Headbutt, which could also flinch. And then the other one would be Hammer Arm, because that's the move that Metagross actually learns upon evolution, so it's more targeted towards the actual Metagross line. So then we've got Metagross with either Hammer Arm or Zen Headbutt, and then either Meteor Mash or Iron Head. So he can run double flinch, could run double attack, Hammer Arm could slow them down instead of you, or slow you down but do crit damage, or whatever it is. That's that. His passive would be Clear Body, like in the games. He would like be unaffected by slows or defense lowering or attack lowering. So his stats are unchangeable kind of thing. So pretty much the same as the game. It's exactly what it does, unaffected by all that stuff. So he wouldn't get slowed, which is really good, because in this game, slows is a big deal. You get a lot of kills by slowing someone down and getting a last pick on them. But if you can stop getting slowed down and you can always escape, then Metagross could be really good. Meteor Mash or Iron Head could be like a charge, I guess, to run into them with a fist, or like your headbutt, I guess, which makes sense, same with Z Headbutt. So he's got a little bit of mobility as well as an all-rounder. Big tank, big damage. Flinch is always handy as an all-rounder. Bit of stun, bit of CC. And the Unite move's, I think, really cool because it's a big area of effect, kind of like Snorlax. You can move around, knock up. Won't be insane knock up. It won't be like block or heavy slam every time you stomp, because that'd be a little bit ridiculous. But enough to make it noticeable in a team fight and can possibly change the field of the battle. On the high chance that Beldum really is that bad and can only learn one move to level 6, we could give him Harden as well, because obviously he doesn't learn Harden at that point. He learns Iron Defense. Could give him Iron Defense instead. But one of those 2 moves at level 3 maybe is a difference. Then he can at least be a little bit tankier as an early game character. He's not just getting bodied in lane with just tackle. Obviously maybe in jungle he might be better because he can farm faster. But if you gave him Iron Defense or Harden instead, then he could be a little bit more defensive and all-rounder early, then gets Metang, then gets Metal Claw and Confusion. Big power spike. So that is the goal behind it. Weak early game like most pseudo-legendaries, then just demolishes in the late game. So that is the idea. Hoping that Metagross actually does get added at some point. Continuing with the Steel type, I really didn't want to make 2 Steel type Pokemon, but because defenders are so, like tanks are so either rock or steel or maybe ghost on an off chance. But so they're always kind of that typing. So I've actually gone with Bastion. I think Bastion will be a really cool pick because his defense stats are like some of the highest in Pokemon. He is called the shield Pokemon. His face is a giant shield, and I love dinosaurs, so that's a good pick. So pretty much it'd be similar to Tank Slowbro. He evolves from Shieldon at level 4 into Bastion. His moveset would be a little bit different. People are probably not going to like the ult idea. They might think it's too strong, but I think it's really good because he is the shield Pokemon. It's his whole shtick. So I haven't really got a great name for it, but at the minute I've called it Fort's Shield. And he pretty much plants himself down and then creates a huge shield from his face and just blocks a massive area. So the idea behind it was that, you know the alleyway that they go in to get Zapdos to the middle? If he stands in the middle and uses his ult, he can block that whole alleyway. And there's nothing that can get through it except Flash. Because Flash is an item, it's not a move, it's not a Unite, you can't just run through it. But Flash actually teleports, it's an eject button. So that would be the only thing that can get through the wall. But other than that, he can just stand there. It doesn't do damage or knockback like Block does. He gets a bunch of shield, or might be impenetrable, I'm not sure what like it would be. It's a bit hard to say. Don't want to make it too overpowered, but you want to make it have an effect at least. So it's just a massive wall, doesn't do stun or anything, just holds off damage and can't get him through. So that would be the idea of the massive shield that is Bastion. Shieldon would start out with Headbutt and Protect at like level 1 and 3 whenever he gets it. Because Protect obviously is a defensive move. He's a shield. That's the whole shtick of this character. So that's his role. And Headbutt, obviously, he's a dinosaur. He runs through Triceratops. He kind of runs through headbutts things. That's his whole shtick. So then Headbutt would then move into either Heavy Slam or Metal Burst. Heavy Slam I've made different this time compared to Snorlax's because Snorlax jumps up and then sits as the slam. But this one would be like a charge slam. So he'd run through and then knock up. Same similar to knock up, but it's more of a charge than just a sit. So it's more fitting to the character. And then Metal Burst would kind of be, think of Ninetales' ultimate, Unite move, sorry, when it's like an AoE around them and then slows. It'd be kind of like that. It'd be like a metal explosion, pretty much what Metal Burst is, but like sits in the middle, does an AoE effect around them and shoots out, and maybe a bit of slow or a stun or something. So it's not nowhere near as strong as Unite move. Obviously, it's only a special move, but the idea behind it is very similar to Ninetales' Unite move. Kind of an AoE effect, shoots out, hits everyone in the area, smaller area, bit of damage or stun, either. So we're given Shieldon Protect to start with, and then when he gets to level 4 and evolves into Bastion, he will get either Metal Sound or Iron Defense. So 2 status affecting moves that help him. So Iron Defense would increase his defense, maybe give him a shield or something. Makes sense. Maybe someone next to him could get a shield too, like maybe a small wall or something. And then Metal Sound actually affects the opponent Pokemon by lowering their defense and like making it easy to get crits or increased damage, whatever it is. It could be an effect on the opposing Pokemon. So similar to how Snorlax has Block and Yawn, how Yawn affects them and Block affects him kind of thing. It does affect them indirectly, but it's about him. So Iron Defense would increase Bastion's defense or shields or whatever, and then Metal Sound would affect the opponents. And then at level 6, like I said, he gets either Metal Burst or Heavy Slam. 2 different moves. So one that's like damage and CC, I guess. And then one that's more status or CC. It might be CC, but mostly status and effect damage. Hopefully people are a fan of Bastion, because I know I am. He's probably one of my favorite fossils other than Tyrantrum. But please let me know down in the comments below who you would love to see in this game and any ideas, because I'd love to hear what you guys think about this game and who you want to see in it and what roles they might play. So let me know, please. Moving on to a really strange pick, but it's a character that I love, and I used to play him a fair bit in Pokemon, and that is the painter. We got Smiggle out here. Love Smiggle. He's such a unique Pokemon. Having Sketch just to take moves, that I put a twist on it a little bit. So I think it's a very strange idea, but I've actually made Sketch Smiggle's Unite move. So if he sees a Unite, he gets it at level 8, so he's like Wigglytuff a little bit earlier, underleveled. He doesn't evolve or anything, so he's kind of just the way he is. So he gets Sketch at Unite at level 8 as his Unite move. And then if he sees a Unite move activated, he then sketches it, and then he can repeat the Unite move. So say Snorlax uses his Unite move, you sketch it, then you can use the exact same move. Would have to be instantaneous, or it could automatically just copy a move that you see, and then you can activate it within a certain time period or whatever, or you activate it when you see one and then you do it at the same time. Not really sure on what would work better, but that was the idea behind, because Smiggle's whole idea is that he sketches things and he uses moves out of paint. And on that, I've actually made his passive, not really sure on a good name. I had Painter's Resolve, but I wasn't too sure. And because I think that he could be a ranged attacker and he would like fling his tail to shoot paint at people, and I thought that would be really cool. Maybe colors or something, maybe green, blue, red, whatever it is. Good paint colors, and he'd be a ranged attacker. That his passive ability is that he shoots paint and it actually slows, because the rest of his moves don't have a massive impact on the battle. Obviously, stealing Unite move could be game-changing, if anything, but could also be really bad. So he was a bit of a wild card Smiggle, so his passive actually slows people down with paint. His basic moves would be, I would have Fury Swipes and Thunder Wave, because obviously he can learn any move, and they're moves that he normally, I've chosen moves that you normally see a Smiggle play in competitive Pokemon. So we've got T-Wave to start off with a bit of paralysis, a bit of stun, slow, whatever, to help out in lane, you're the support. Sorry, I should have clarified that Smiggle is in fact the support character. So he's meant to slow down the opposing Pokemon, get your carry or Lucario or Metagross for that matter to help you get these kills early. And then Fury Swipes is a little bit of damage, so then he can farm still a little bit. He needs something so he can still get damage and still get farm and help out, because if he's too underleveled, he'll be useless. From Thunder Wave, I think when he gets to level 4, he'll learn his next move. It'll upgrade kind of like really quick, like Surf and things, like Wigglytuff. So then it will either go into Spore, which will obviously be similar to Thunder Wave, put them to sleep for a minute, kind of like Yawn, slow them down, put them to sleep. Maybe an area of effect, kind of you throw the Spore, and then anyone caught in it will fall asleep. In opposed to that, we've got Sticky Web, which would be similar. You throw the Sticky Web out, or you paint the Sticky Web out like that, and then anyone in it would be slowed in effect. It'd be a larger area than Spore, just because it's a slow, not a sleep. But anyone caught in it would be slowed down. Maybe it does continuous damage. I doubt it. It doesn't seem like Sticky Web. That's more of like Electro Web or some poison move, but mostly just the slow. And then also on that end, we'd have Stealth Rock. So this is actually the first character I've chosen 3 moves for, because Smiggle doesn't have a set moveset in the game or anything. He takes other moves. I've chosen moves that he would use, like I've said. So I wanted to give him a bigger variety. So I've given him 3 moves for each move line, I guess. So he's got Spore, Sticky Web, and Stealth Rock, which would be a similar thing. You could either set up, it could be you throw it and it sets up a line, like a barrier. You walk through it, it slows and damages people. Could be similar to Crustals, where you throw it and it's in this ring. Could be bigger, could be whatever. But I do like the idea that you throw it and it sets up like a barricade or a line that if they walk through it, they're slowed and it does damage. On the other end, because those moves were more of the status moves that Smiggle would have as a support, got to have him some damage. Got to have a little bit of damage. So we've got Mirror Coat, which would just be like a special attacking move, because he is a ranged attacker, like I said. He'd have a special attacking move where he'd shoot a Mirror Coat. Maybe he does more if you've been attacked with a special move. Maybe it reflects more. Could do double damage if you've just been hit with a special move. Not really sure, but that's one of them. We've also got Seismic Toss, which obviously is a melee move for a special attacker, but like look at Cinderace, he's got Blaze Kick. Could be a dive in, and it actually does more damage the higher level you are. So it does a little bit early on. You get it at level 6, does damage there, and then the more levels that you gain, it will do a little bit more damage. Most moves increase with damage, but it'll have more an effect on the higher that you are fed as a Smiggle. And then lastly, in the last spot, a move that really benefits Smiggle is Endeavor. It's very high risk, high reward. If you get a slow or something, you can use it, but then it'll pretty much bring down the opponent's health to yours. So it's very, very risky, but it could pay off big time. If you're versing their carry or their tank, and you've got no health, you've been targeted, you use Endeavor, get them to 1 health as well, and you both die, I feel like that's worth it. If your support dies for their carry, that is a worthy trade. So that was the idea behind Smiggle. Doing status with his 1 move, doing a little bit of damage with his other move, doing a bit of slow, because he didn't have much backing him as a support. So I gave him the slow with the basic attacks on his 3rd hit, maybe, on the paint. And then his Unite move is Sketch, which I think is a really cool idea, because that is what Smiggle does. He sketches, and then he can take their Unite moves and use that to anyone's advantage. Could be your teammate's Unite move, could be an opponent's Unite move. You just have to witness it happening, and then you sketch it, and then you can use it again. More of a fan favorite pick than Smiggle for one, Bastion, and maybe Metagross is more of a fan favorite pick, but definitely a more well-chosen Pokemon would be Sceptile. I love this Pokemon. He's probably my 2nd favorite starter of all time, behind Greninja, so having both in the game would be phenomenal. And I'm very surprised in this game, for one, that Greninja wasn't a speedster and was an attacker, but it makes sense. But I've gone through, and the speedster and attacker that I've got were kind of similar in the roles that they play, but I went with the one that has more speed to go on the speedster role. So that is Sceptile. So Sceptile would be a speedster, would evolve at level 5 and level 8, not 7, because I feel like 7's too early sometimes. But I feel like level 9, like Charizard and Venusaur, is a little bit too long. So 5 and 8, I feel like is a more balanced ratio, I guess, for evolution for a good starter Pokemon. The passive would be Overgrow, just like in the games, like the other starters. Increase grass damage or move damage when you're at low health. I think the Unite move should be either something forest, like is in the name, so something forest or forest something, but otherwise it could just be Frenzy Plant. It's like kind of like Zero Auras, how you shoot the big blue Thunderbolt and it tracks the opponent, does big damage. It'd be like that, kind of like you put your hands in the ground, kind of like from anyone who's seen XYZ the show with Sawyer and their Sceptile. You kind of put your hands in the ground, causes big roots to follow the opponent, and then do a big knock-up and then lock them in a prison. So I wouldn't do insane damage, and because it only targets one person, because a speedster is supposed to be like the assassin type role, it's more of a one-on-one ultimate. So you target someone, like, because Zero Auras, it hits them and it hits anyone in the area. This is more strictly just a one-on-one ult. So you use it, it targets them, knocks them up, or doesn't knock up, but grabs them, does damage, and locks them up, holds them for a little bit, and then you got time to maybe use one more move. Because I think Sceptile is a melee attacker, but some of his moves are specially ranged, like we'll go through. So I think it's really handy. So if you running away, you're a melee attacker, you can use your ult to lock him down, chase down, then use the other moves to steal the kill. I made Trico start off with quick attack because obviously he's a speedster. He does learn it early in Hoenn and stuff. So that is the idea behind that. But then also Bullet Seed. You need to have a grass type move. I didn't want to use Leafage again like with the Gossifleur. So I thought Bullet Seed, because that was used widely in the anime as well for Trico. So Bullet Seed might be better. It'd be similar to Bubble for Froakie, how it does like the multi-hits. And it'd be really good for clearing jungle camps because Froakie does that well. And Trico being the speedster would hopefully do that just as well. From that, I've chosen that Bullet Seed would turn into the stronger of the two sets. So you unlock these moves at level 7. Even though they evolve at level 8. It could be level 8, but I feel like that might be pushing it. Because at that point, Dreadnought's over maybe. And you kind of need that level. So maybe getting it 7 would be good. But it might be more ideal to get it when you evolve. Because then it's a better power spike. But we got Leaf Storm and Solar Blade. So even though, like I said, that Sceptile would be a melee attacker. Leaf Storm would be a ranged attack. It'd be like shooting a funnel. Kind of like if you saw a Hydro Pump, but with grass. So pretty much just a big funnel that you shoot. It might lower your attack, but have a quick cooldown, always crit, something like that to follow the laws of Leaf Storm in the game and the show and whatnot. But it'd just be a big funnel attack, big special attack that does damage in a line or a beam kind of thing. On the opposing end, Solar Blade would be a more physical attacker, but you kind of shoot it. If you've ever seen any sword anime or anything where someone does a big slash and it like cuts through the ground and chases them, think of that. So pretty much, it's an attack kind of like Solar Beam, takes a while to charge. It's a bit stronger maybe than Leaf Storm, but it takes longer to charge, and you pretty much shoot it, and it's like a big scythe blade that cuts through the floor and chases them down in a line. It doesn't track, it just goes in the one spot, kind of like Solar Beam goes in a big line, but not as, maybe it could go as far, but it's a beam that you shoot out and cuts through the ground. So it's not like an all-in-one beam, it's a shot attack. Think of like Aura Sphere, but maybe not as far, where you kind of shoot it out and it tracks and hits the people. Does big damage, big cooldown, but really beneficial. On the other hand, when Trico evolves into Grovyle at level 5, it will learn its probably signature move, Leaf Blade. So Leaf Blade, and then on the other end would be Grassy Glide. Obviously, that's a much newer move. Trico and Grovyle and Sceptile all do learn Grassy Glide, and I feel like it would be good because being a speedster, you needed mobility, so I feel like having not one for the other move entirely kind of put him at a disadvantage. So having Leaf Storm and Solar Blade, yes, great moves, big range and stuff to account for the melee attacker, I guess in the speedster role, that you needed some mobility. So Leaf Blade and Grassy Glide would do very similar things. Leaf Blade would have a higher crit chance or something. Maybe Grassy Glide goes further or faster, quicker cooldown or something. Haven't really gone into details of the moves too much, but they would be the two mobility moves that you get at level 5s. Nice and early, come in for the ganks from the jungle. That was the idea behind it as well. You get a mobility move at level 5 when you evolve from the jungle camps. You can come in, get early ganks, mess them up, do big damage with your two moves, and then eventually level up, get the newer moves, evolve into Sceptile, and then you can run through with Unite move at level 9. On to the 5th and final Pokemon, and it is a bit of a different one. I've actually gone with Lycanroc and Rockruff. So pretty much everyone knows that Rockruff evolves into 3 different Pokemon based on the time of day or situation it's in. So I feel like it could have the same thing. So you actually get to choose your evolution. So Rockruff starts out, it evolves at level 5 into either Midnight or Midday form, whether it chooses Accelerock or Counter, the 2 signature moves of those Pokemon. So when it hits level 5, you choose a move, and then it evolves. Obviously, Dusk form Lycanroc doesn't have that option because it can learn both. So, if you decide not to choose a move at level 5 and wait another level, when you evolve at level 6, then you turn into Dusk form Lycanroc, and then you can choose either move from that. It's a bit strange, it's a bit wacky, but I think it could work really well. And the reason behind that, because I think Dusk Lycanroc would be better, because you can choose either. Tough Claws, I've given it as its passive as well, which actually, instead of having a 3rd empowered basic attack, it's every 2nd basic attack. So it's very strong. It could be more damage, obviously. It could be a knock-up. I don't know what it would be. But because it's every 2nd basic attack, I feel like that alone just makes it better. So then having it 1 level later and then get to choosing either Counter or Accelerock based on the situation would be beneficial as well. And then also, Dust Form actually learns its Unite move 1 level later. Intentionally, like I said again, to balance out that it's probably better than the other 2, so it gets everything a little bit later. Speaking of the Unite move, it would have to be the signature Z move that Lycanroc learns back in Sun and Moon, and it would be Continental Crush. Very similar to, I would say, Greninja's, kind of an area, you shoot it, you drop a giant boulder on this area. This massive, huge continental-sized boulder, you drop it on an area, hits everyone, maybe does a knock-up or a slow or something. that's pretty much the move. It's just a big boulder that you drop on a certain area. Large AoE, like Greninjas or Cinderaces, you just drop a big boulder coming in. That's the idea behind it. So midday and midnight form learn it at level 9, and dusk form would learn it at level 10. I talked about how Rockruff evolved into them, but I talk about his moves beforehand and afterwards. So Rockruff starts off with Bite and a Rock Throw, and then like I said, at level 5 when they evolve, or it evolves at level 6 for Dusk form, then Rock Throw would turn into either Accelerock or Counter, based on which version you choose. And the idea behind it is that because it's the attacker role, so it can do either, so it doesn't have to be super fast like the Speedster. So Counter, Lycanroc would have different stats as well, obviously they do in the game, but it'd be slower, it'd be more tanky, more health, use Counter to its disadvantage, whereas Midday Lycanroc would be faster, more frail but speedier, more mobility, and then Dusk form would be the mix of the both based on what move you choose. Maybe depending if you chose Accelerock or Counter as Dusk form, it could alter the defensive stats as well, and the attack and the speed and whatnot. Otherwise, it would just be the Dusk form having the stats, and then choosing what move either. From Bite, after getting to level 7, and then, so obviously level 7 for the 5 and 6, Midday and Midnight Lycanroc, but then the Ducks format would be level 8, just to balance it out, obviously move everything up 1, so then that would either be Crunch or Stone Edge. Stone Edge is one of the perfect moves for Lycanroc, it's one of the fan favorites, it's a fantastic move, it actually is the move that is required to get Continental Crush, so it made the most sense, and obviously they're all dogs, the K9 Pokemon, they've all got Bite to start with, so they all evolve and learn Crunch, so that is that option, so you can choose Crunch or Stone Edge to go with Accelerock or Counter. Like I said before, I've made the passive for Dusk form to be Tough Claws, empowering every second attack instead of third. For Midday form, I've actually given him Steadfast, which is Lycanroc Midday's hidden ability. It would be the same as Lucario's, get the shield when you're low, increase movement speed, very much the same, kind of give it to an attacker role rather than just an all-rounder, because Lycanroc Midday would be very frail, so giving them Steadfast really helps out in not dying early, maybe you're not getting ganked as hard, and kind of doing more well, can push a little bit harder with Accelerock, and then get in there and then get out more safely without risking everything. On the opposite end, we have the Midnight form, and I would give them, it was hard to choose between No Guard, but I couldn't really see a benefit for No Guard because all of the Pokemon had Stone Edge, so I didn't want to make No Guard a chance to miss. So I'll give him Vital Spirit, which he does have in the game. So I think Vital Spirit obviously just prevents them from going to sleep, but it'd be up and about. Vital Spirit, very energetic, you know, so it'd prevent sleep and slows. So it's not like Metagross's Clear Body, where it's very similar to Metagross's Clear Body, where it can't be slowed or lowered defense and attack, but that's just for stat changes. This is sleep as well, so it can't go to sleep and cannot be slowed. Hopefully you guys like my ideas for these Pokemon, because I put a lot of time into this. I really think they're really unique and different to a lot of people what they choose. They're not all the fan favorites. Obviously Sceptile and Metagross are right up there, but I feel like Smiggle, Lycanroc for one, Bastion especially, are very wild picks that I think could do really well and thrive in this MOBA-like Pokemon game. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Would greatly appreciate it. Please let me know in the comments down below who you want to see in this game, what you think of my movesets or ideas, any suggestions and things. Please let me know who you want to see in this game. Would love to hear your opinions. And as always, take it easy.